We start the second piece.
Little bumpy. Hundredths of a second. That's less than the blink of an eye.
Welcome back to Altenberg in Saxony. We are ready for the second deciding heat of the opening race at the IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. Well, after an entertaining first heat, we've got an awful lot to sort out in this second run. 19 sleds taking to the ice. That was the number that started our first heat after late withdrawal for the flu-ridden Deborah Annan. So her World Cup debut will have to wait for another week or perhaps a little longer, depends how she recovers before Sigulda. So what are we looking at? Well, a German top three. Kim Kalicki lies in third position. Really too many errors creeping in for somebody who knows this track that well, and she got away with it. 41 hundredths off the lead. She might be in danger of losing a medal. She's got Lana Myers-Taylor chasing her. But the battle for gold, well, Lisa Buckwitz is in silver medal position, 19 hundredths off the lead. And she too, if she can tidy up a few of the errors that crept into her first run, may well have an opportunity to move up. But the leaders are the winners here in February. Laura Nolte and Deborah Levy. February was Laura's first win here in Altenberg. Silver medalist behind Kaylee Humphries in the second race in 2023. That gave her the European Championship, but that was her first win. And with Deborah Levy, the Olympic gold medal winning duo are on top of the pile. Lisa Buckwitz will be a threat. Kim Kalicki, there was an awful lot not to like in her first heat. Alana Myers-Taylor in a brand new sled is fourth, ahead of Melanie Hassler and Kaylee Humphries, who, despite a hamstring injury yesterday and jogging off this morning, went from the 12th best start to 6th at the line. And she could be another threat. Now, she's possibly not close enough to take the medals, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. So athletes warming up. There is Kalicki. She was absolutely livid with herself after the first run, and not really too surprised, actually. Lisa Buckwitz there. She'll be going with Nela Scooten. Alana Myers-Taylor. Good run from her. And Kaylee, there's Kaylee Humphries, both in brand new sleds that have not been raced before. The MUSA sled built by Mark Vandenberg in Lake Placid, here for the first time. Keisha Love is in one of their regular BTC sleds. And so too is Sylvia Hoffmann, another BTC driver. And that is Austria's Kati Beil, 13th place after the first heat. Little disappointing run for her. Victoria Chinanska in 15th position. Victoria maybe just a little bit out of the 7th to 14th battle of 8 sleds, which are covered by barely 0.2 of a second. Could be a lot of sorting out going on. Van Petegem thinking her way down. Tied to the 100th in their first heat, so anything could separate them. Sarah Blizzard will be first off, with Ashley Werner returning to bobsleigh 3 years after she last sat in a World Cup sled. They'll be first off. Georgeta Popescu, Kelly Van Petegem, Sylvia Hoffmann, Victoria Chinanska, Margot Bock, Kati Beil. And by the time we've got to Bock, we've got Bock, Beil, Nicole Wyszewski, and then Lotholtz, Apia, and possibly even Keisha Love in a massive sort-out outside the top half dozen. Andrea Grecu in 7th place, only 400s out of the top 6. Kaylee Humphries, 400s away from 5th place. Melanie Hassler, 1500s away from her teammate Alana Myers-Taylor. So lots to contemplate. It's going to be if it's this interesting everywhere, it's going to be a mouth-watering season. So let's get things underway then with Sarah Blizzard making her World Cup debut. And Van Nieuwenhuis in the background. Clearly she's been helping out a little bit. Ashley Werner in her 5th World Cup start. her first since January 2022. Enjoying a bit of sunshine back home in Australia. 6:05 getaway, 6:06 in the first heat. And hopefully Sarah's just a little bit less tight and twitchy, which I guarantee she would have been feeling before her first heat. She got it down safely. This is looking much smoother already. A nice 4, a nice 7-8 transition. 5 and 6 went well out of corner 9. All right, gets a big, huge old skid going. Up until then, it was good. Oh, and very wavy in the Kreisel. Focus, focus, focus. Nice exit, little skid. Running down into 11-12, but that was very smooth. Much tidier looking run. If she was tight at first heat, I'm not remotely surprised. Altenberg is very intimidating. It has a reputation. 58.30, all right, 2/10 slower than the first heat. You can hear the girls roaring with delight as they come across the line. That was a better looking run. Lots and lots of it were better. The big skid from 9 down to the Kreisel, though, that would have taken plenty of speed out of the sled. So is the track a little bit faster, a little bit slower? Well, we'll find out as the run progresses. But her World Cup debut has been successfully completed. Look at the eyes, just staring down at where she wants to go. Got a bit wet, trying to hold it up just a little too high when she came offline on that first pressure in the Kreisel.
Hey everyone, back home.
Dealt that well. There's Sarah, and on the right, Ashley. Next up, Georgeta Popescu with debutant Antonia Sava. Antonia making her World Cup debut here. Beg your pardon, she wasn't. This is her fourth World Cup start, one of our early runners. 6:05 getaway, 300s quicker than first heat, same as the Aussies have just produced. Georgeta, Youth Olympic champion in girls bobsleigh in 2020, and Antonia was also competing on big rattle off 5. So 400s to 4/10 up. That will be reduced again a little, but she gets a better run down the straight. Second best speed, not quite as quick as Sarah Blizzard. Ooh, late off the Kreisel as well. Ooh, rocking and rolling through 11 and 12. She's picking up speed over the Aussies. And comes across the line with a 57.73. Now that again, 2/10 slower than her first heat.
55.29 the total time.
The Aussies only went a 10th slower than their first heat. So she's gone from 1.5 to 1.1 ahead. So all in all, an improved second run from Sarah Blizzard compared to Georgeta Popescu. Not enough to close the difference, to close the gap. There's the exit of Kreisel. A little bit rattly, and here, 11-12 transition, she gets knocked away as well. Georgeta on the right, Antonia on the left. Antonia also raced in the Youth Olympic Games as a driver before becoming a brakewoman. Next up for Belgium, and Anne van Nieuwenhuis back in harness. New mum with her 11-week-old daughter here. So dealing with all sorts of kids, not just the athletes. Kelly van Petegem and rookie Santi Andresa. Santi making her World Cup debut. The 21-year-old has had just one bobsleigh race in her life. 6:02 getaway. 700s quicker than their first run. Keep it clean. High on the exit, but avoids contact with the wall. Out of 3 into 4. Double pressure and clean onto 5. Little tap out of 6. 7 and 8 went nicely. Exit of 9, let's see where she is. Just avoids the wall. That's pretty decent. Better speed than we've seen. So she's got over 2.5 kilometers an hour higher speed after that clean top. You see some Belgian fans there at the side of the track. Whoa, little late flop off 15. This is going to be a good-looking run from Kelly van Petegem. She takes leads, 44 hundredths separation over Georgetta Popescu. And the relevance there is that they were tied to the 100th in the first heat. The Aussies, training partners, 57.29.
Im zweiten Lauf, 57,56 nach dem ersten.
Well, not too late an exit out of 9, it just avoids the wall. Sled comes back where she wants it to. And a nice first pressure on the Kreisel. Didn't allow it to rise too high, didn't hold it down too much. She got a good exit as well, maybe a little high on the third pressure. And there's Xanthi on the left-hand side, new face in the World Cup.
Hi there.
So, Sylvia Hoffmann and Justina Mattsson. And Justina, more experienced in World Cup terms than her driver. This is Sylvia's second World Cup drive, although she started 15 races as a brakewoman. Justina in her third World Cup start. 5.80. Started 5.81, 10th best getaway in the first heat. Bizarre fact about Justina Mattsson, she has only raced in the World Cup in December. Her debut, oh, big hit in 5. Debut in Park City, December 2022. A second race, Innsbruck, December 2023. Her third World Cup race is here, Altenberg, December 2024. Not sure what she does for the remaining 11 months of the year. Maybe she's only comes out once a year like Santa. Second best speed. Margin has gone down from 3600s to only 1400s, rubs it down the wall. I'm not sure this is enough to hang on in front of Kelly van Petegem. Doesn't have it at the line, so Kelly and Xanthi move up. 57.48 down time for Sylvia Hoffmann. 300s better than the first heat, but not as much of an improvement as the Belgians. Sylvia will be frustrated with that. Late 3 led to pressures in 4 too late, too high on the second pressure, and that then slaps you down into 5. And when you get thrown off 5, you're offline into 6, and you go sideways into 6. Nothing here happens in isolation. Next up then, Victoria Chernanska and Lucia Makrosova, 1700ths of a second in hand over Kelly van Petegem. Kelly improved by 44 hundredths on her second run, so they are going to have to do some work to stay in front. So Victoria and her brakewoman, Lucia Makrosova, have been together on this World Cup campaign all the way through in women's bob. It's their 11th World Cup start. 6:01 getaway, 5:98 in the first heat, so not quite as quick. But if she's clean, she has got the ability to stay in front. She's got a season or two more experience than Kelly. Just about squeezes through 5 without too much drama. 1700s is now 2200s. Out of 9, needs to be straight. A little bit meandery, oh, and sideways into the Kreisel. Big first pressure, big second pressure. Look out on the exit, and she's gone. She didn't react enough, didn't bring it down early enough on that third pressure, didn't control those oscillations. Getting in sideways and going straight up to the roof of the first pressure set the alarm bells ringing, but she thought she had done enough. Now the worst of any crash here happens. Well, this is out of 9. She was steering hard off the end of 9. That wasn't the drama. The drama was that the sled got sideways going into the Kreisel. And that big first pressure, she could or need to really control it then, but the second one was even higher. And the third one, that was a given. It was high and it was very late, and she tried to bring it down, but it just rolled off the end. And in the monobob, they might have got away with that. That's where Alana rolled and nearly came back up at 11 and 12. And they nearly did as well, but shoulders were on the ice there. I think that's Lucia. And it's a very bruising run down, upside down, battering your helmet and your shoulders. So eventually the sled comes to rest in the low point of the track. The track workers get the sled out and the doctors arrive. And as yesterday with Alana Myers-Taylor's crash, no attempt made to stop the sled. And after the appalling injuries in crashes in training here last year, you would have thought that that might have been an issue that they wanted to address. I'm not sure the athletes are going to be overjoyed with the way that the track has reacted. It is a great racing track. It does have its danger points, and everybody knows them. But the injuries don't come from the crash. The injuries are actually the legacy of the crash, where the sled is allowed just to meander up and down on its own. Well, lots of fans out around the track on a snowy and pretty crisp Sunday morning here. I'm saying morning because I still haven't had lunch, so it's still morning. And there is our brakewoman, so Lucia Mokrosova, the taller of the two, being taken down by the doctor. They'll go to the medical centre. And the top of the picture, watching the sled, you can see Victoria. They both got a pretty substantial battering. I think highly likely that both were wearing Burns vests, because although it's cold, ice does burn. It's the friction that causes all the problems, particularly when you can't get away from the ice, you can't get your skin away from the ice. Lycra isn't much of a protection. Weight of the sled often holds the athletes down, and they're travelling at 100, 110, 120 kilometres an hour. We can see the sled of Margot Bock, standard 5-minute track hold after a crash. Kelly van Petegem on the left, and Santi van Drischer on the right-hand side, her rookie brakewoman. So she's had most of the experiences. 2-heat World Cup race, TV, headshots, all of that nonsense, having to meet Ilko, and now time in the leaders' box as well. Not sure if she has become what they call a real bobsledder, i.e. had a crash yet. But 5 sleds down, 14 to go. And the next group is really the enormous tight battle. France's Margot Bock, 500s behind Austria's Kati Beil, who's 200s behind Great Britain's Adele Nicol, who's 100th behind Linda Wyszewski of Poland, who's 200s behind Melissa Lottholz of Canada, who's 500s behind her teammate Cynthia Appiah. And Cynthia in 9th place, only a 10th behind Keisha Love in 8th. So a lot of sleds with very little breathing space between them. Errors are going to cost you time and positions in the next 7 or 8 sleds, what they do in all cases. As we've seen, Kelly van Petegem tidied up her error from the first heat and has reaped the rewards. Lots of fans trackside, so the Bratwurst and Glühwein stands will be doing brisk business, and rightly so. See, when you're a bobsleigh fan, you don't do après ski. Well, you do, but you also do during the event. Now, watching the women's competition this morning, and of course, looking forward to the four-man, the Königsklasse, as they call it in Germany, the blue ribboned event. That will start at 3:30 local, 14:30 GMT. This track delay means that our lunch break is, is getting nibbled away. So 3:30 local, 14:30 GMT, 09:30 Eastern. Lots of family and friends watching the action, with the three German crews going in the last three, all three in medal positions. It has not been a massively successful track in terms of women's bobsleigh for the German teams. Laura Nolte won in February. Lisa Buckwitz won a race in January last year, and Kim Kalicki won in 2021-2022. But Mariama Yamanka is the previous German winner with Annie Dratzek. That was back in 2018-2019, so 5 seasons ago. And before her, the last German winner, Kathleen Martini with Stephanie Schneider on the brakes, 2012-2013. After Martini's win, Alana Myers-Taylor and 7 times Kaylee Humphries have won. And since 2012-13, in the ensuing 11 seasons, and a lot more than 11 World Cup races, because of COVID and what have you, German athletes have won only 3 of them. And in that period, Kaylee has won 7 and Alana has won 1. Now, that's not to say that Germans haven't taken a hatful of medals, because they absolutely have. Most of the other podium spots have been taken by German sliders. Well, actually, medals for the likes of Alana, Jamie Grubel-Poser, Christina de Bruyn, several times. Kaylee herself, a few bronzes as well. Melanie Hassler, and most recently, Andrea Grecu of Romania, who was a bronze medalist here in February's race. So despite the fact that it is part of absolutely German sliding heartland, Altenberg, Winterberg, Königssee, and if you're a luger, Oberhof as well, it is a track that a driver's driver can really get something out of, and that's why it's such a special track for Kaylee Humphries. I mean, with a hamstring injury, a hamstring niggle at least, jogging off and getting Jasmine Jones to do all the heavy lifting. 12th off at the start, 6th at the bottom. If she was not feeling that tweak from yesterday, even though she's, what, 10 months, 11 months postpartum, I think Kaylee Humphries would have been a bit of a medal shot here again. Kaylee took 2 World Championship gold medals in succession in 2020 and in the COVID 2021 Worlds. 2021 with Lauren Gibbs, 2021 one with Lolo Jones, who has just announced in the last week or two, at the age of 41, that she is back in the US team. There's your leaders. Just as well they got some warm jackets with them. When you're hot and limbered up, Lycra isn't exactly warm, and when you're stood around for ages in the leader's box, it definitely isn't warm. The jovial Max Robert, French brakeman and now coach, shares duties with Bruno Mijon. They combine their talents to help out France and Monaco. You saw the track workers slushing in the little nicks and gouges in the track. The sled inevitably causes those as it sort of rolls all over the place. And partly that is to keep the track in one piece, but largely it is to make sure that our subsequent sleds aren't led astray by gouges in the ice. So out of the changing room, right behind the camera, right behind the main board, they will have been. Not in the changing rooms on the right as you look at the track here, but in the jury room right behind. Margot Bock, Carla Seneschal. Nobody likes to contemplate crashing here in Altenberg. And unfortunately, when somebody crashes right before you, you have a long time to contemplate that. So Bruno Mijon giving the sled a bit of a clean and a polish where it's been laid on the ice. Margot Bock and Carla Seneschal prepare for their run. So 14th place after the first heat from an 11th best start. It was not Margot's best drive down this track, it's fair to say. There was quite a lot that could be tidied up. How much of the weight she's been able to put out of her mind. Raced here just once in Europe Cup back in 2019, which seems like forever. Probably did when she got here for the first time and tried to remember her way down on the track walk. 10th World Cup start for Carla, 15th for Margot. Deep breath, 60-second clock goes. And then they start as they wish, but before it gets down to zero. So getting on with it immediately, I think, is probably the right attitude. 5:82 start, 5:86. Well, that won't be nerves, I don't think. If you're going to go, just go. Being at the correct speed is much better than going off half-heartedly. This exit from 4 into 5. Smoother looking drive already, I think, from Margot Bock. 6/10 up on Kelly van Petegem. The 9. Nice online for the Kreisel, top speed. Nice exit as well out of the Kreisel, 11 and 12, pretty clean. Little rattle on the wall to 13, still at top speed, still 7/10 up. Much better effort from Margot Bock. That is the way to answer a long delay. 56.99. 3/10 quicker than her first heat and more. You saw Bruno Mijon there on the left and Max Robert on the right. So they have a 6/10 advantage at the end over Kelly van Petegem. But Kelly will finish no worse than 15th place. Kelly's 7th place here in the race in February. And where did Margot finish in February's race? She wasn't here in February, of course. It's her first World Cup outing. Next up for Austria, Katy Beil with Anna Schenk. And Anna recently joining the Austrian team last season, having started a World Cup career for Italy. Her 9th women's bobsleigh World Cup start. After 5 for Italy, her 4th for Belgium. She also ran in a men's 4-man race in Lillehammer last year. She raced 4-man with the Italians, and the Austrians were short a man, so it was either she got in or they didn't race. Dropping behind Margot Bock and Carla Seneschal. Ooh, and a little bit of an uncomfortable exit out of 9. That's not going to help her speed. Now only the 4th best speed. She had almost nothing in hand, just 500ths over the French duo. She's 22 hundredths back. There's not enough ice to come all the way back from there, even if she's clean out of 14. Might get down to around a 10th deficit, might not. Margot Bock leads 700ths. She was coming back, but not a... she's out of the sled already, halfway to the parking lot. Catty Weil disappointed with herself after that one. So they slip a spot. It's so tight, this group of sleds. Even one error like this is probably enough to knock you down a spot. Bumped into 5, late onto 6.
Stop.
So next up, Del Nickel. Now her advantage over Margot Bock, just 700ths of a second. And Adele, again, even less experienced here than Margot. So with Riskat Fabundi Aladi behind her. '15th fastest start, 5:95. Their first time together for a while in a race. The second World Cup start. Riz behind her, 5:89. Well, that's 600ths of a second better, which immediately almost doubles their advantage over Margot Bock. Little tap there in 3. Is to come clean off 4, gets bounced in 5. Little tap before 7. So the gap's gone from +4 or -4 to +5, +11, 1100ths back. Second best speed, Margot Bock was quickest here. Little late exit off the Kreisel as well. 11 and 12 is cleaner. Only the 4th speed. 1800ths back. Little skid uphill out of 14. Not enough speed aboard to hold off the French. Where does she get to? Drops 2 spots. Sean Olsen and Graham Richardson watching the run. Plenty to digest for Adele Nickel. Ew. Well, that is getting in, and her foot getting caught on something very sharp and metallic, a bolt inside maybe. Ow, ow, ow. It's like driving a car. You don't use your feet, but you do put them on foot plates to brace yourself against your seat. Lock your legs out so that you're not hanging on to the steering. Next up, Linda Wojciechowski and debutante Klaudia Adamek for Poland. Klaudia, national level 4x1 and 4x2 champion. 5:68, first bobsleigh race for the big woman of any kind. And actually, Linda gave her a pretty good trip down in the first heat. 2600ths over Margot Bock. Well, 2/10 of that, 1800ths to be exact, came from their faster start. 2900ths up. Good exit out of 9. Oh, getting a little skid going into the Kreisel. deals with the damage. Late exit, and she's gone as well. Big final height, and then trying to drive it down too early. Such a fine line when you're so high on that third pressure. The temptation to haul it off must be enormous. You then dive down, and centrifugal force pushes you back up. Again, no track workers on hand to stop the sled. Athletes getting out to try and do so. Well, out of 9, all looking good, but the sled gets a little bit sideways. She's wriggling the runners, just trying to straighten it up. But that big first pressure is late. Watch the white lines, the broad white bands. Then the second pressure is late as well. It's the third one. She allows it to rise much too high and then drives it off hard. And then she's still hauling on the steering. She knows the danger right there. And it just doesn't come back. Ah, that was a big hit on the wall for Linda. Both of them half out of the sled. Well, the ice is hard and fast today, but it's the same errors that cause the same problems. Allowing the sled to oscillate too much in the Kreisel. Both athletes, I think, are out of the sled. And they're going to be knowing all about it tomorrow. I'm sure the doctors will be checking them for concussion as well. Yeah, whacked about really badly when the sled is rolling around like that. Once it's gone, particularly in the Kreisel or even in 11-12, there's nothing you can do. It either rights itself, which is seldom, or it doesn't. So Linda Wyszewski and Victoria Chinanska, they will both get points as finishers because the sleds cross the line with the crew aboard. So, Margot Bock, Carla Seneschal. It's a bit hard to look delighted when you're in the leader's box as a result of somebody else's misfortune. The Polish crew chatting about that. Not exactly ideal for anybody, but hopefully both of the girls will be okay and ready to go and compete. Not sure whether going to Sigulda was on their plan or not. I'm sure some of the coaches will be back here for the four-man. Watching everything going on here. There's nothing that we don't know about this track that's happening in any of these incidents. You see those grooves, they try and slush in as much of them as they can. A bit like being a plasterer. It doesn't dry instantly, it does freeze on contact. There's Lyndon Rush in the white hat. You see on the extreme left of your picture, lots of opportunity to watch at the start here, as well as further down the track and opposite the finish area. We're only about 35, 40 minutes drive from Dresden, the capital of Saxony. And only about 10 or 15 minutes from Glashütte. And if you don't know the name, Glashütte is a small town in Saxony, which for the last century and more has been renowned for its watchmaking. Lange & Söhne, one of the big brands that is increasingly popular again in Glashütte. Got a very proud heritage. So Margot Bock on the right of your picture, Carla Seneschal on the left-hand side. They're not twins or sisters or remotely related, but when they started out, two blonde girls who spoke French, they became the blonde twins. They are our leaders with, 10 sleds to go now. So Margot's first World Cup race here, and she is in with a shout at a top 10 finish, because we're still in the middle of that big throng of very tightly packed sleds. View inside the Kreisel here. That's a popular viewing spot as well. Easy to get to the Glühwein stands from there. You can watch the sleds all the way around. Well, there you are. There's the jury room, right behind the big signboard. Athletes coming back out, so we are within 2 minutes of restarting. Mark Huster doing his best to fill the airtime as well, our track announcer. Doing all right for an old bloke. So two Canadian teams, both coming out together. First up will be Melissa Lotholtz with Leah Walkender. Melissa in her driving debut in women's bobsleigh. Well, in her World Cup driving debut, at least, let's say. She is our reigning America's Cup champion. Her last race as a brakewoman in Sochi in December 2015. It was the World Cup after the Games. Leah Walkender in her 11th World Cup start, up till now with Cynthia Appiah. Slotting in to join Melissa Lotholtz. Pretty effectively as well, 8th best start. Came down in 10th place. And again, 2 crashes already in the run. Lyndon Rush will be doing his best to just focus them on getting the best out of themselves here in Altenberg. 5:74, so they go quicker. Again, no trepidation at the start. If you're going to go, go. Blast it off. Take it by the scruff of the neck. Nice transition in 3 into 4. Gets nudged away a tiny bit in 5. Nice clean 6, little tap before 7 and 8. Little flop off 7 into 8. Out to 9. Good straight run down. Just lean your shoulder against the cowl to get it to come over to the left. You don't want to steer if you don't have to. Not getting the speeds off the transponders, but she's 3/10 up. This is Melissa Lotholtz trying to overhaul her teammate Cynthia Appiah. Not about French, it's about the other Canadian sled. It's about bragging rights at dinner. 56.64 compared to 57.17. A whoop in, and I believe they say a holler in. They possibly don't in Canada. They might have done in the American West 200 years ago. But they suddenly come whooping and hollering into the finish area. All that adrenaline bottled up, all of those nerves bottled up. Nice work, ladies. Well, they drove it out to a faster start, and Melissa handled all of that tension really well. 56.64. That is equal fifth fastest run of the day on a track that does not necessarily look like it's any quicker than it was earlier. So 500s ahead of her after the first heat. Cynthia Appiah with newbie Skylar Sieben joining the Canadian program. This is her first bobsleigh race. 5.90. So they lose 1600s. So Sin has to outdrive Mel to get the lead here. Ooh, little rattle off 5. $2,800s back. The gap first to second to Margot is 4,500s. Katie Bile in third is 5,200s back. She's not stopped the bleeding yet. Second best speed. Margot Bock quicker. Lisa Lottholz with the fastest start so far, but a little uncomfortable through 14. Gets it nicely off 15. How close at the line? 3,500s back, not close enough. So she drops a spot. 10th ahead of Margot Bock, but Melissa wins the battle of the Canadians. And Skylar Sieben needs a bit more work practicing the braking. Well, out of 4, just a little low and early. Bounce off the take on to 5, and then you get thrown in the air. So Melissa Lottholz walking them out there to help them with the sled. They are the current leaders as we get to the top 8. Keisha Love and another rookie, Bailey Golden. I'm liking the pre-start snapping out of the huddle. Bailey Golden from Oklahoma State, a heptathlete. 5.74 getaway. They go quicker than their first heat by a couple of hundreds, and they might need to. They only had 1,800s in hand over Melissa Lottholz. And like Lottholz, Keisha here for the first time as a driver. She has been a winner on this track, January 2023, breaking Kaylee Humphries. Ooh, little skiddy, only the 7th best speed. Now the gap is going to really shrink. 7th best speed still, she's in the red. I think this is Melissa Lottholz's position. The question is, will she stay ahead of Cynthia Appiah? How close at the line? Second place, she is just ahead of Cynthia. But Melissa Lottholz moves up, 57.02.
For Team Love USA. The time for the second heat is 57.02. 57,002 Zeit in
So, Keisha Love and newcomer Bailey Golden. You get out the sled now. Just getting tapped on the head there. Well, Bailey Golden's first World Cup race as a new recruit on one of the toughest tracks there is. It's her first bobsleigh race as well. National standard heptathlete, and very nearly made the US Olympic program. Well, she may well make the US Olympic bobsleigh program. Andrea Grecu and Teodora Vlad next up, bronze medalists here in the race in February. And Andrea, bronze medalist yesterday, 7th place after the first of our 2 heats. Could well be on for a top 6. 5.76 getaway. They find a couple of hundreds as well. So with an increased margin over Melissa Lottholz, now out to 4,300. Oh, that's not comfortable. Andrea was cleaner than that in the first heat. She makes a bit of a fudge of 6 as well. Needs to be clean here out of 9. Okay, just thinking it over onto the line, but only the 7th best speed. Little high and late on the exit, but gets it down nicely. 600s is all that's left of the lead, and 11 and 12 was Rocky. She might be in the reds by 14. 200s in it. It's going to be down to the 100th at the line, but she goes down to Melissa Lottholz as well. Melissa Lottholz on the fringe of a top 6 result.
0.88 in second place currently for
Andrea Grecu and Theodora Vlad, 700s back. They lose a spot. Melissa Lottholz, 10th after the first heat, leads with 6 to go. Lost bad Kreisel, and she came nicely off it. It was early on in the run that really did the damage, and then 11-12 didn't help. 14-15 didn't look entirely comfortable either. Andrea on the right, Theodora on the left. A top 10 finish, but who's next? Well, it is Kaylee Humphries, returning with her 11-month-old son, Alden. And Jasmine Jones behind her. Kaylee pulled a hamstring, tweaked it yesterday, so in her words, jogging off. And in this brand new MUSA built sled, different frame from anything they've had before, but both drivers responded very encouragingly to it, not just in their attitude to the new sled, but also the way they drove. And Kaylee, off 12th best start, drove herself into 6th place in the first heat. This is not about driving away from her former pusher. Don't forget, when she was a Canadian, Melissa Lottholz. This is about trying to put herself in the frame, potentially even for a medal. Great looking run so far. Tiny little tap, but it's like she's been driving this sled for months. 4800s up. This is a woman who has won 7 times in women's bobsleigh alone on this track, and a 56.60. They started 200s quicker, came down 600s quicker, 800s quicker. Kaylee Humphries, new mum, still got it. Jasmine Jones gets down both trips without being bounced on the head, so that's a change from February when she was behind Alana.
Sorry, I poked you in the eye.
Sorry, I poked you in the eye. See, you think getting into a sled at speed downhill on ice is easy? Patently not. Not a bad exit from 9, just avoided the rub on the wall. Kaylee on the left, Jasmine on the right. They lead with 5 to go. 400s ahead of them after the first heat. Melanie Hassler and returning mum Nadja Pasternak. Her daughter Noli was born a year ago. Her first race since. 5.70. Just 100 shy of their first heat, but that adds 1100s to their advantage over Kaylee. So out to 1500s as they sit down. And Mel looking very smooth as well. This is definitely top 6 driving. She wasn't really quite on it yesterday in the monobob, just didn't quite seem to gel, but this is very nice. 2nd best speed. Margot Bock still quickest in the Kreisel. Still top speed. A 10th ahead of Kaylee, best speed of all. Melanie Hassler looking to challenge Alana Myers-Taylor for 4th place. She should hang on ahead of Kaylee Humphries, and across the line, 400s in it. 400s in it after the first heat. Their time exactly identical to that of Kaylee Humphries. 56.60. Both heats count. Otherwise, they'd be our joint leaders, with Melissa Lottholz in 3rd, just 400s back. But both heats count. It was a good, smooth-looking run, same as we saw from Kaylee Humphries. And in the end. They both lost a little bit of time compared to perhaps their perfect runs. But 400s in front is 400s in front. So fourth place, Alana Myers-Taylor. Winner on this track with Sherelle Garrett back in 2014-15. And with medals since then, but not a gold. Let's see what she can produce. .571. Crashed out of the women's race here in February, crashed out yesterday in the mono, shaking it off, put it behind her, hugged her babies last night. Good night's sleep, back at it today. 1500s up. Adding to her advantage. Ooh, bumping down into the Kreisel. Fractionally better speed than Margot Bock. Oh, and just hangs on somehow. Only the fifth best speed going into 11:12. 700ths of a second. Not going to be enough in it. She flops late off 15. She's going to go down to Melanie Hassler. Surely 600ths of a second. But oh boy, 11:12 nearly got her again.
3.30 the total time. Third place currently for Team Myers-Taylor, USA.
I don't know if Emily Renner realises quite how close that was, but Alana does. Look at this, 11:12, late height and lots of it. And the sled, luckily, got broadside. Wow. Well, she's enjoyed new MUSA sled, but she won't be disappointed, I think, to leave Altenberg. Melanie Hassler leads, 3 to go. Kim Kilicki and Lauren Siebert in third place. A very un-Kim Kilicki looking run. Winner here with Lisa Buckwitz back in 21-22 season. Silver medalist in February with Annabelle Gallander. That was her third silver on this track as well, Kim Kilicki. Never had a bronze. Not sure she wants to complete the collection with bronze today. She'd much rather move up, but 4100ths off the lead and 2200ths out of second place. Actually, she needs to try and hang on ahead of the Swiss. Best speed of all into the Kreisel. We saw in the men's race that the FES sleds shake off contact with the walls. They are absolutely flying machines. 3800ths up rather. Driving away from Melanie Hassler. She will be in the medals. Do the Swiss get anything? Well, it was untidy in her first run. So there's that. It was a bit messy. And again, look at the body language. Yeah. Got it done, but it wasn't pretty. Look at that, rising on the end of Tudai. Exit the 9, hits the wall, gets a square tap, and the sled comes straight for her. I mean, you know, when things are running your way, they are. Nadia Pasternak goes to offer her congratulations to Lauren Siebert. As we get to our penultimate sled, Lisa Buckwitz with Nayla Skuten. Skuten joining Lisa's crew. Buckwitz a winner here with Kira Lipperheider in the first race in January 23. 5:56 getaway, 5:58 in the first heat. It's a nice quiet run from Lisa Buckwitz. Boy, hasn't she come on as such a strong driver. Ooh, that was the curse of the commentator. Sorry for that. Nice exit out of the Kreisel though. Only the 10th best speed. 3800s up to 4900s up, down to 1800s in hand. Over Kim Kalicki, who was fastest at the bottom. How close is this? 400s in it. René Spies and Gert Leopold both applauding there. A bit of a raised set of eyebrows from René Spies. But Lisa Buckwitz and Ella Skuten lead with 1 to go. Well, Lisa Buckwitz has 2 gold medals on this track. In January 23, driving with Kira Lipperheider behind her, but in 21-22, she was pushing Kim Kalicki to gold. Now then, Laura Nolte and Deborah Levy, the Olympic champions, back together. They were the winners here in February. They set a new track record in the first heat. That jet engine on the side might be a clue to their speed. What's the start? 5.58, same as they managed in the first heat. Lisa Buckwitz and Ella Skuten produce another couple of hundreds more. Keeps it off the wall. Tap in 3 into 4. Tap into 5. Don't give this away now. Skids into 6. Gaps down to 1600s. It was 1900s after the first heat. Better exit for 9, 1800s, better speed. Here we go. Steadied the ship. Needs a good exit from the Kreisel. Good enough. Still top speed. 2900. She's driving away. This could be a new track record, despite the untidy top part of the run. Laura Nolte is going to take her 2nd straight gold medal here in Altenberg and does not quite get the record, 56.15. But her 2 runs faster than anybody else could produce. She claims the first win of the season, as she did yesterday in the monobob. And one day soon, she's going to have to win a World Championships in women's bobsleigh. Silver medal again in Winterberg, but 2 straight golds here in Altenberg. So she's had 2 silver medals on this track, 1 bronze medal, and now her 2nd gold in the World Cup. In fact, her bronze was in the World Championships in 2021, so not a World Cup, but a World Championship bronze medal. Well, Laura Nolte with a track record in the first heat made life tough for her rivals. Made it tough for herself in the early part of the 2nd run. Uncomfortable all the way down, pretty much to corner 9, but from there on, tidied things up, kept the speed she needed to take victory at the line. Good effort from Laura Nolte and Deborah Levy. So, a German 1-2-3. Not unexpected here in Altenberg, maybe. Melanie Hassler 4th ahead of Kelly Humphreys and Alana Myers-Taylor. Melissa Notholtz 10th to 7th, overhauling Andrea Grecu, Keisha Love, and her own teammate Cynthia Appiah. And the other big mover outside the top 20 was Belgium's Kelly van Petegem, who moved up from 19th to 14th, 18th to 14th place, behind Margot Bott, Katie Bile, and Adele Nicholl. Sylvia Hoffman slipped a little. Georgetta Popescu and Sarah Blizzard completed the run successfully, and hopefully everything is a-okay with our 2 teams that crashed, from Slovakia, Victoria Chernanska and Lucia Makrosova, and Linda Wieczniewski of Poland and her new brakewoman, Klaudia Adamek. But But with a handy lead and a track record in the first heat, Laura Nolte did not give the gold away. Took on the challenge, and her second run, not as quick as her first, but quicker than anybody else could produce in either of the two heats. So the fastest two runs of the day win it for the Olympic champions. Kim Killicky, second from the right there. A little thumbs up, but not looking overjoyed. Don't think she'll really put this down as a red letter day in her career in Altenberg. One race into the 8 in the IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. Laura Nolte leads from Lisa Buckwitz and Kim Killicky, but notification that Kaylee Humphries and Alana Myers-Taylor, as well as Melanie Hassler and the rest, are going to be trouble. Melissa holds her World Cup debut, 7th place finish as a driver. Not bad at all. I think she'll be very happy with that indeed. And that is it for competition for the women here in Altenberg, which leaves us with a much shorter lunch hour than anticipated before the 4-man bobsleigh competition. We will start at 15:30, 14:30 GMT, which is an hour and 7 minutes from now. Go and get the kettle on, heat up the glühwein, or whatever else you need to do. We'll see you then. 15:30, 14:30 GMT, 09:30 Eastern. Till then, for now.
Basta. Basta.
Oké, daar gaat hij. Laura Nolte, Deborah Levy, congratulations on this win. So for you, Laura, it's a double win this weekend. What a weekend.
What a weekend. It's a perfect start into the season. And I'm happy that I'm finally friends with Altenberg. I can definitely say it now. It's fun, and I had fun racing with Debbie today, yesterday in the monobob. It was a good weekend.
So, but conditions change every day, so that must be difficult.
Yeah, it was a bit difficult. Yesterday monobob we had very, very hard decisions. Conditions. It was very snowy. Today it was very different. It was fast in the first heat, slower in the second one, but yeah, we've been here a lot of times, so we can easily adjust to the weather conditions.
So Deborah Levy, last season you only did the World Championships. You did a World Cup here in Altenberg. Are you now back full-time in the sled with Laura?
Yes, I am, and I'm so happy and thankful to be back, almost pain-free and healthy. Yes, and there's more to come. Yeah.
Did you miss the bobsled?
Yes, of course. Almost 2 years of not competing, and it was a long time and a hard time. And yes, I'm right back, and it's a good feeling.
And then what a way to start your second season with a win.
Yes, Laura did a very, very good job today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.